Well, the Cover Slayers, so we play 30k and no other game exists. Oh, good for us. With me is Clarence, as usual. We're doing a big 3,000 point Iron Warriors versus Iron Warriors.
Versus Sons of the Sigillite.
Sons of the Sigillite. So, I have Iron Warriors, shocking, and Cleary now has Iron Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
As we've seen from prior episodes.
Full Iron Warriors.
Full Iron Warriors.
Something not seen on video.
No allies today. So, wow. What else can we say? Beautiful board. Hopefully you guys saw the cool teaser trailer I made for the board. It was fun to make. And I hope to make more of those. Dense board today as well, as you can see, sort of. We're doing the usual Crusade, 3 to 5 objectives. We don't know deployment and all that. So,
fear the flanks.
Fear the flanks then.
Kind of like a long-standing joke.
Yeah, exactly. What else can we say, Clarence?
I think we were going to go with possibly random game length. We tried that in our last game since we are both playing Iron Warriors, so it's a little more applicable. Though that being said, we also didn't film it, so we had more time in general.
For one-off games, I think it's good. For tournaments, it's just a bit tougher to justify. Just time-wise. I mean, if the game is going to be short no matter what.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, should be a fun game.
Should be a fun game. We'll be back with armies and terrain if we have time and stuff.
3,000 points Sons of the Sigillite, aka Iron Warriors. Alright, so starting up front, I have a Siegebreaker. He's actually my Warlord. Siegebreaker has Chain Fist, Combi Melta, Cataphracti, and 1 Phosphex Bomb, and his Warlord trait is Target Priority. I have Golg as not my Warlord, but he still unlocks all the Terminators as troops and gives us leadership, so that's why he doesn't matter as much. And I have a new Mortificator, counts as. He's got the Corpus and Stave that comes with. It's his little hammer on the back. He's got a Volkite, Serpenta, Artificer Armor, and Void Shield Harness. And his Talon is actually way back here because of, so you can see them. They each got Armored Ceramite, Multi-Melta, Heavy Flamer under Slung. I don't think I give them extra armor because it doesn't matter since they're in a vehicle squadron. Then kind of front to back I got a Tactical Support Squad with 4 Melta. Sergeant has Plasma Pistol and Augury Scanner and Bolter. They're dedicated. It's back here. It's got the Dozer Blade and extra armor. I have a unit of 10 Breachers. There's 2 Melta Guns, and the Sergeant has Artificer Armor, Combi Melta, Breaching Charge, and they all have Melta Bombs in the unit as well. I have a 5-man Recon Squad. They got Bolters and Melta Bombs, and the Sergeant has Artificer Armor. I have a 5-man Iron Havoc Squad with Auto Cannons. The Sergeant has Artificer and an Augury Scanner. I have 2 separate quad mortars, and they have Shatter and Phosphex from the Siegebreaker. I have a 5-man Tartaros unit with Combi Grenades, Reaper Autocannon, and 5 Chain Fists. A 5-man Cataphracti with 5 Chain Fists and Combi Bolters. Iron Circle by himself, you can't give them upgrades. And finally a Bunker with Void Shield, and the ammo store is the one that only applies when you're inside. It doesn't, not the AoE one. So that's my 3,000 points of Iron Warriors.
3,000 points of Iron Warriors, aka Sons of the Sigillite. Starting up from my HQs, I've got a Praetor. He's on a Scimitar Jet bike. He's got a Mastercrafted Paragon Blade, a Power Fist, Melta Bombs, Digital Weapons, as well as a Relic, which in this case is the Void Shield Harness. Next to him, I've got a Consul. It's a Warmonger, same one I ran last time. He's in Terminator Armor, Cataphracti in this case. He's got Combi Melta and a Chain Fist. And he also has one of the new Sire Kana 0-1 Warrior options, which in this case is Terminal something Injectors? Lucidity Injectors. So he'll get to, if he dies, when his last rune happens, he'll get to do a single attack or shooting attack or combat attack on whoever killed him. My other Consul is a Librarian. In this case, he's a Warp Charge 2. His powers are Life Leech and Warp Speed, as well as Smite for his primary power. He has a relic as well. He's got the Void Shunt Field, I think, which lets him redirect shooting attacks. It's basically a 3-up interval that only works on shooting attacks. I also gave him a Sire Arcana. I gave him
Transvetic Generators.
Transvetic Generators. So that's basically a teleportation within 18 inches, and on a roll of 1, I get sucked into the warp and potentially kill people around me. Okay, so starting with my elites, I've got a unit of 2 quad mortars together. They both have shadow rounds. Behind them, I've got 2 separate units of Terminators. The one on the left has 4 Chain Fists, 1 Power Fist, and a Plasma Blaster. The one on the right has 3 Chain Fists, 2 Power Swords, and a Plasma Blaster. Behind them, I've got a Talon of Contender Dreadnoughts with Karis on both, as well as extra armor on both. Behind the Dreadnoughts, I've got 3 separate Javelin attack speeders, each with 200 killer missiles, missile launchers, and multi-meltas. Beside them, I've got a Vindicator Laser Destroyer. I gave it the 5-point Dozer Blade. It also has, what else? A laser upgrade, obviously. Next to him, I've got the Medusa. It's been upgraded with heavy bolter on the front that's got the fletchet rounds, or what are they called? Shrapnel rounds. As well as a twirling bolter on top, extra armor, and I think I gave him an auxiliary drive just to be careful. Next to him, I've got a Scorpius Whirlwind, and it's got a multi-melt on the front. And then for my troops, I've got 3 units of tacticals, 1, 2, 3, each with a Rhino. The Rhinos have combi plasmas, and the tactical squads, all the sergeants have artificer armor, melta bombs, and all 3 units have the extra close combat attacks. So yeah, my warlord trait for today is going to be Surprise, Conqueror of Cities. Yeah, 3,000 points. Technically 2,997, but who's counting?
So Ben won the roll for terrain, or sides, and he gave me this side. So here's with my deployment. Starting on this end, I got my 5-man Tartaros facing one of the objectives. Thought there'd be opposition. That's kind of right. I have my Rhino starting on the dangerous terrain, so it'll have to take a test. I have a quad mortar, kind of getting blocked by my own units right now. The Mortificator and his Talon out front. The bunker with the Havocs inside it. That's why the guy's on top. Behind them I have my 10-man Breacher squad, kind of like guarding the rear from Deep Strikers. I have my Havocs in the building. And then underneath them, well, with my Warlord, the Siegebreaker. And then I have Golg and his Cataphracti guys. The lone Iron Circle with no character, and my last quad mortar. And then I have unit reserves. From reserves, I have my 5-man Recon squad. They're outflanking, and paired with Fear the Flanks means I can charge when I come in, and they all have Melta Bomb, so hopefully some vehicles can be scared of them.
Iron Warriors Sons of the Sigillite deployment, starting over here. Got a Javelin Speeder tucked in behind here. Next to it, I've got my squadron of quad mortars. Moving down, I've got the Talon of 2 Terminators. Dreadnoughts.
Tempters. Yeah.
Tempters. Behind them, unit of attack marines and that Rhino. Beside the Rhino, I've got another Javelin. My leader, who's out in front there, chilling. Behind the wall over here, I've got my Scorpius, nice and safe there. Next to him is my Laser Vindy, who's sort of got this nice long look down the street towards Clarence, as you can see. Good firing lane. In front of him is another Rhino, as you can see. Moving up on top there, we've got my other Javelin, who's taking advantage of Conqueror of Cities, so when I move, I'll probably be okay. Going down, I've got my Medusa, hiding. I don't want to give Cleary a clean shot, because he'll use it. And over in front there, I've got a squad of Terminators, who's joined by the Librarian. And of course, next to them, I've got my last unit of attack marines in that Rhino. And I've got a unit in reserve, so we'll talk about reserve. In reserve, I've got my Warmonger joined this unit of Terminators, and they will be arriving via Deep Strike. Cleary has decreed that I'll be going first.
No,
second. Sorry, second. So I'm going to try and steal the initiative. Here we go.
Ooh.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, I guess I'm going first. We'll be back at the end of Sons of the Sigillite, turn 1. This is the end of Sons of the Sigillite. I'm not going to say Iron Warriors, Clear. Turn 1. Interesting turn. I stole the initiative, as you know, so starting over here. My Walkers, as well as my Javelin, moved up. They fired all of their guns, including the 200 killer missiles, into Clarence's Rhino, and Cleary shrugged off 30 shots, let's say, or 27 shots, or whatever. How many of those were successful 5+ cover saves?
A lot.
Like 7 or 8. So anyway, this is
7.
very much alive. Very much alive. Moving back down. This squad here fired their shatter rounds at the bunker, right? No,
it was
this guy's.
Yeah.
Killing one of the 2 dreadnoughts, but not enough for first blood because they are a Talon.
Yeah.
This rhino here just sort of lurked. It's got that objective close, so I don't really have anywhere to go. Back over here, the Scorpius fired way over behind Cleary's bunker, targeting the boarding marines, but scattered back onto the bunker, hitting these guys as well as the bunker, but not doing anything. So what can you do? Moving back.
The void shield.
Pop the void shield, that's true, yeah. Moving back down, my laser vindicator. I have to roll for that.
Yeah.
We're doing it live! What, 2+, I'm okay?
Yeah,
There we go, he's fine.
never matters.
So, I had to do that because I charged up its capacitor and fired down the lane at Cleary's bunker. What was the bunker, right?
Yeah,
I think he's the one that popped the void shield, isn't he, or no?
No, it was your
Right, I whiffed.
something else popped the void shield.
Interesting discovery. Ordnance doesn't work on fortifications, at least seemingly.
Yeah.
So that's new. So I didn't get my double dice. Back down, this javelin, which was here now, jumped from over here to be there. Caged at the bunker, didn't do
Yeah, I
anything.
think it dropped its shield.
Right, yeah. Moving up, this rhino went 12 to be where it currently is, just kind of lurking on the corner. This one here, lurking there. That other rhino also boosted up a little bit less than 12 and actually managed to put a wound on Clarence's iron circle with its one and only plasma shot. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. My Termes moved up to be behind the building there. My leader moved and turbo busted to be kind of with them and chilling. Fun story, so where the Terminators are, my librarian teleported from there to where you currently see him. In his inaugural use of the Sire Arcana war gear, he rolled a 1. I managed to pass my perils, but still took the wound. And accordingly, I lost the Terminator over here because of almost getting sucked into the warp. So, Buddy threw the Terminator in for him, but he's still alive, 1 wound down, and thankfully he has Life Leech, which he both tried to cut Life Leech and Smite off at the Iron Circle and failed both times. But that's neither here nor there. We're forging narratives. That speeder engaged with the Iron Circle, putting another wound, I believe, and dumped his 100 killers. And that's pretty much it for turn 1 for Sons of the Sigillite. We'll see you at the end of turn 1 for the real Iron Warriors.
Also known as Sons of the Sigillite.
Fuck you.
Welcome to the end of turn 1 for Sons of the Sigillite, aka Iron Warriors.
Set up.
Alright, so starting down over here. The Invincible Rhino moved up, busted through 3 parts of dangerous terrain, and popped smoke. And my Tartaros Terminators followed suit, and they opened up on the Javelin and caused it to jink, and it took a hull point and destroyed the multi-melta. So that was pretty good for me. My Quad Mortar shot a Phosphex round over at his Quad Mortars, but it scattered wide even with Twin Linked and Phosphex, and clipped the Rhino, and we kind of play with more streamlined Phosphex rules because of how they can leave dangerous. So we just make it
Dangerous.
The unit takes dangerous terrain next turn and difficult. Moving down over here, my remaining Dreadnought and guy moved up and took a pot shot at the Rhino, and I failed to pin. The Havoc shot at the Laser Destroyer down the street. I got 2 glances, but he passed them both on the 4-up.
Ting ting.
The Tyrants shot at the Javelin and managed to down it for first blood, so that's pretty useful. And then the Iron Circle, because of its Cortex controller, had to shoot the Cybernetica Cortex had to shoot the Librarian. I did 3 wounds and he failed 2 of the saves, so I got him for a victory point from the Relic that we also have to play with. And then finally, my last Quad Mortar shot at his Rhino, and I got 2 hits and failed both the armor pin results. So, pretty good turn 1 for me, but there's reserves coming in and lots of Iron Warriors on the table. You can see at the end of Iron Warriors turn 2.
End of Iron Warriors, Sons of the Sigillite, turn 2. Fucking clear. Starting over here. So, I had the Javelin here, jump over 12, and Snapfire at this unit, not doing much. Both walkers moved up 6 and engaged. One of them fired at the rhino and managed to make the guys inside snap shoot, as well as causing 2 hull points. And I caused it to not shaken but stunned, or shaken. Yeah, shaken. This guy engaged with the dreadnought and the character unit. I believe ending the dreadnought. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Which left Cleary's character, a console out front. What's he called?
Mortificator.
The Mortificator. So Mortificator was left out front, and I powered up. I can remove that now. I powered up my laser Vindy, fired all 3 shots down into him, and Cleary managed to die. So he went to ground, but nothing he could do. He didn't have an invul. So that's a VP for me because he had a relic. So that's good. Moving down, my javelin that moved up here had also, I think, engaged with that unit, helping with that whole thing. These rhinos, both this one here boosted around the corner to where it is, and the one over there boosted around to where it is. They engaged with Cleary's Iron Circle, I think putting a wound on with one of the rhinos. And then my leader actually opened up with his heavy bolter and put the final wound on the Iron Circle, meaning he couldn't charge. Back over here, my Terminators ran up and charged their own wreck just to hopefully gain some extra movement. Kind of fun. They blew it up. I did get hit on my sergeant, but he managed to save it. Moving back over here, my Medusa fired way over here at Cleary's Iron Circle, scattered and hit my own rhino, putting a hull point on it and blowing up a combi bolter. So not the end of the world, but not the greatest. And last but not least, my Whirlwind Scorpius fired way over here at the boarding marines, scattered about 6 inches over here. I did get a full spread of shots, but Cleary managed to take a bunch of them on his sergeant because he gets to re-roll his 2+ save because they're blasts. So Cleary knocked down 5 wounds, only losing 1 guy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And the worst story of all, my reserves came in. I had placed them here. They scattered 10 inches, would have put the main deep striker pretty much like on this thing.
Yeah, the impassable.
Impassable. So no matter what you do, you're mishapping. I rolled a 1 on the mishap table and they got wiped. So I lost a 225 point Terminator squad and like 160 point character. Yeah! So not the greatest thing ever. I did get a VP this turn from killing one of the relics. So that's cool. We will see you at the end of Iron Warriors, the real Iron Warriors, turn 2.
So welcome to the end of Iron Warriors turn 2. First things first, my reserve came in. Outflanked, I rolled a 6, picked the side. We'll get back to that later. Or we can just say they charged and destroyed the Medusa, because that's what happened. It exploded.
That's what they did. Medusa's gone.
Exploded.
Didn't hurt them.
None of them took damage. Did pretty well. Kind of swinging on over this way. I moved up my Terminators, shot at the Dreadnought. I put a hull point on it with the Reaper autocannon, so that was pretty cool. I tried to shoot the Melta Gunners inside the Rhino that was snap shooting at the, I forget which, but failed to hit. The quad launcher shot his Phosphex again at his quad launchers. It scattered a bit. I was able to creeping fire it back for 2 hits, and I failed to wound with both of them. So still nothing happening with that guy. The Havocs blasted down his javelin. The bunker failed to regen its void shield, but they're kind of holding down the fort in the middle. The Tyrants split fire, so the sergeant shot at his javelin and caused it to jink. And then the other 4 shot at his Contemptor, and I did a hull point on it.
2 hull points.
2 hull points, and I made it shaken, so that's pretty decent. It's not shooting as well. My quad mortar shot into his Rhino, and I did 2 hull points to it. This one here, but nothing really happened other than the hull points. And finally, I charged in with Gulg in the squad to his Warlord.
And the boys.
Yeah, and the boys. There's 1 extra boy, though, I believe. Then the meme. And I passed all my invul saves and managed to beat his Warlord down pretty...
So it's 2 more VP.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I got like 4 total wounds out of like 19 attacks.
Just enough to kill.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
I failed 3 out of 4.
Yeah, it was pretty bad luck. But if he was going to die, better that he died.
in my turn. So, looking pretty good for me. There is still at least 3 more turns of Iron Warning, and we'll see at the end of Iron Warriors turn 3.
It's the end of Sons of the Sigillite turn 3. The best turn, not the worst turn. Starting over here. I backed up with both of my Contemptor Dreadnoughts. This one was still snap firing. It fired 12 shots at Cleary's Rhino and only got 2 hits and did nothing. Over here, though, the second one engaged with Cleary's Terminators, killing 2 of them. I think the Sergeant and the Reaper autocannon.
Yeah.
So that's good for me. Moving back down, I engaged the quad guns over here on the Terminators. I actually hit both times, getting 12 hits, but he passed all his saves very well. So not much I can do there. This Rhino is still just chilling near the objective. Not much for it to do. On the back of the flanks, it's interesting. I turned my vehicles to face Cleary's outflanking unit. I engaged with both the Scorpius, the Werewolf Scorpius and the Laser Vindy, and I only managed to kill 3 out of the 5. So pretty resilient unit there. And what can I do? Oh, just realizing too, I got to test to see if I'm gonna blow up there with my whole point. Dun dun dun! No, he's good.
It's a 6.
Wah, wah, wah. It was a 1 that I want, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, interesting that Cleary still has 2 of the outflankers very much alive that killed my Medusa. And these guys are hungry for blood. Moving down, got out of the Rhino here. The Rhino backed up 6. The unit then threw a grenade as well as rapid fired into Cleary's Terminators. I think I may have gotten 1.
Yeah, you got 2.
2, that was pretty good. The Termies charged in and lost pretty resoundingly. I did have 1 survivor who fled back 6 inches into the building there. So I lost 3. I didn't kill any, but it felt good. Moving down, my Rhino boosted up 18 to be where it is, going for the deep flank. I know those guys have melted bombs, but at least I'm now in his rear, and Cleary can't ignore that. And last but not least, I boosted again 12 and then 18 with my jinking Javelin Land Speeder. It's pretty useless, but again, if I can just divide Cleary's attention, that might help me. Overall, not the greatest turn, not the worst turn. We'll see you at the end of the Real Iron Warriors turn 3.
This is the end of Real Iron Warriors turn 3. Kind of start down over this way. So my Meltagun squad finally disembarked, and they shot up the 1 Contemptor, and killed it. It did not explode.
Boom, boom.
I actually cheated by accident with the Tartaros because they moved and ran,
Right.
which they can do. But then I forgot that they ran and went to shoot the Rhino.
Right, but nothing happened. So
yeah, nothing happened. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Moving down over to the fortress of whatever the
Shield
giant
comes
models. Yeah, the shield came up at the end of the turn, and the Havoc's gunned down the Rhino just to make sure stuff's dead and it can't do no contesting or tank shocking. Gulg's unit shot and charged the tactical marines, and I killed 5 from combat, and they didn't take any damage from shooting. So, 5 they ran. I can't pursue. They're in cataphracti. And then my tyrant squad, they shot at the Rhino. Only 4 could see this Rhino.
Yep.
And only 2 hit actually. So it was really poor, and I had to turn to my quad mortar down here to shatter it.
And it shattered it.
Killed it. The guys disembarked. I shot them with my other quad mortar with Phosphex, and I hit, and I only wounded 3 times.
But they are very dead.
Yeah, well,
And
the
moving
3
too
guys,
difficult.
yeah. And then finally, my my breachers, they shot the speeder, and I tried to shoot everything to keep from shooting my combi melta just in case. But that's what killed it. I killed it with the combi melta. And it did not explode, just died. We have a lot of wrecks going on. And then finally, right down here.
Right. They're outflankers.
So I threw a crack grenade. I wanted to hull point it because I'm like, it'll have to be an explodes. Didn't work. Charged in. Both hit, both pinned, and I rolled double immobilized. And what happens when you're already immobilized? It's, there's a hull point, and so it just died from that, which means I'm protected by from the multi-melta, and if he moves, that's way less shots.
Yeah.
And
just a very comedic situation on the whole with the recon.
See if you can get 3 tanks.
Yeah, I'll go 3 for 3. And other than that, yeah, I'm in a very good position, and we'll see at the end of Sons of the Iron Warriors turn 4.
The end of Iron Warriors, aka Sons of the Sigillite, turn 4. Interesting turn. Starting over here. So both of my quad guns fired way over here, targeting these cats. Scattered and hit the wreck that was here, but still hit some of these dudes. Cleary, I think, lost 1 from the barrage, 1 from the explosion, and then these guys engaged with them, killing a further 2, I believe. So you lost 3 total?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. They couldn't charge because their wreck exploded, so they just fired the rapid fire and stood there. Down here, these guys regrouped as well as that Terminator inside. They both snap fired here. The Terminator got a 6 and actually put another wound on Gulg, so he's got 1 left. These guys I don't think were as lucky, but they tried. Moving down, my Rhino took its dangerous, rammed through, and then the guys got out. They rapid fired, engaging with a unit here, didn't do anything, but some shooting from this Dreadnought in combination with barrage from the Scorpius managed to wipe what was left of Cleary's unit. I also, as an ancillary benefit, managed to get some hits on the Rhino and blew it up as well, or killed it, wrecked it. And one of the hits managed to take out one of the Terminators, a lucky fail on my part from Cleary. So, not terrible, not the best. I still have some guys lurking in my backfields. They probably aren't going to be close enough to contest, but who knows. So yeah, as it stands right now, it's still 1 VP for me and 4 for Clarence, but we'll see if that changes at the end of Real Iron Warriors turn 4.
So welcome to the end of Iron Warriors turn 4. We'll start down over here. So Terminators moved and charged. I lost 1 to Overwatch. Then I had a pretty poor roll to hit. Only 1 pen, and he passed his invul, so that's pretty funny. Moving down over here, the recons charged his Scorpius, yeah. Hit with both melta bombs again, and I blew off his Scorpius launcher.
No!
Shaken. So it took all the artillery out of the game.
Yeah, MVP.
Yeah, pretty good. Gulg and crew, they moved and charged and shot his tactical marines after the Havocs in the bunker shot them too, and they managed to kill a good chunk or all of them.
Consolidated back 2 inches?
Yeah, 2-inch consolidated back. This quad launcher shot at his Terminator and did 1 wound, which he passed.
Yay!
And then what happened here was I shot a bunch of frag missiles, like 8 frag missiles at them, just because I thought it would be cool. The breachers contained it with their rerollable save, so even though I scattered 1 blast back onto myself, they passed their save. I killed like a few of them with the blasts, and then a few more with shooting, and I charged in. I wanted to use the breacher charge really badly, but because he had so few models, I couldn't place it so it wouldn't hit my own, so I was unable to do it. And then I was like, yeah, I'll take the 2 armor saves back on the sergeant. I failed the first one, so he died as a result. Won combat.
1 guy left in there?
Yeah, I won combat, but he passed his leadership test. So that's it for my turn. It's looking pretty in my favor, and we'll see at the end of Iron Warriors turn 5.
It is the end of Iron Warriors Sons of the Sigillite turn 5. Starting over here. So my quad guns targeted Gulg's unit, scattered just enough to hit my lone Terminator and kill him. Because I'm a fucking idiot. So that was great. Moving on down over here, I lost the combat to Clarence's Terminators, who consolidated towards my unit on the objective. I snap fired this vehicle into the 2 units that were there, not doing anything, and then these units, they Fury Legioned and managed to kill the sergeant, but the other Marine is still alive. Hooray! Down over here, my 1 remaining Marine in combat was ganked, so Cleary consolidated a few inches towards the objective there. It's not looking good And because I stole the initiative on Cleary, he can push for turn 6 if he wants, if he needs it. Not that I think he'll need it, but we'll see. So yeah, we'll see you at the end of the real Iron Warriors turn 5.
Right, so this is the end of Iron Warriors turn 5. We'll kind of start over here. I moved my breachers up to the objective. I went to the battlements with my havocs because it looks cool. I moved my tyrants to kind of like face things because again it looks cool. I moved my Gulg Terminators up to really secure the objective. And then I fired at his quad mortar with both of mine, the one-shot Phosphex, and killed one of his launchers and a guy, and the other one just failed to wound. Over here, I shot 2 frag grenades from their combi launchers and did a bunch of saves. We both passed them all. Just one scattered back onto me. And then I charged in combat. I killed 3 to his none, but he passed his leadership test, so we're on the objective.
But you are contesting.
Contesting. And then my lone recon guy...
Whiffed.
Yeah, he definitely did whiff. So that was unfortunate, but...
Are you pushing it turn 6, Clary?
Yes, I'm making it go to turn 6. He's got to kill that fucking tank. So, yeah, we'll see at the end of turn 6 of Iron Warriors.
What is the end of Iron Warriors Sons of Sigillite turn 6? A lengthy turn awaits you. Starting here, my remaining soul quad gun engaged way over here at Clarence's Terminators, hitting all 3, wounding all 3, and Cleary passed all 3 saves. So get my hopes up, why don't you? Over here, I backed up 6 and fired at the one remaining recon marine. The melt-the-gun missed. I hit twice with the combi, and he failed one of the 2 saves. Thank God. In combat here, I actually killed one of the 2 Terminators. Cleary swung back and punched one of my dudes in the face, so it's a tie combat. He's still contesting, of course, but what can you do? So that's the end of my turn 6. Probably going to be an Iron Warriors victory, I'm thinking.
I think it's guaranteed, actually.
Yeah, so we'll see you at the end of Iron Warriors turn 6.
It's the end of Iron Warriors turn 6 and the end of the game, resulting in an Iron Warriors victory. But whose is it? It's mine. So I have 2 objectives. One there, and one here. And then I got First Blood for one. I got Warlord for another.
And 2 relics.
The Librarian had a relic. And so did his Warlord. So that's another 4. So I got 10. And Ben killed my Relic Bearer, so he got 1 off that. So it's 10 to 1. Because
you're contesting over here.
Yeah, contest the last objective.
That was the only thing that happened the last turn.
Yeah.
We fought. He killed more guy, but it didn't matter.
Yeah. So Ben managed to stick around on that objective.
So 10 to 1.
10 to 1. Very fun game. And we'll see in the post-game show for more.
Well, the post-game show, you totally just watched us play 3,000 points. 30k and didn't fast forward because you're good people and we like you. Clarence, why don't you give me your MVP?
My MVP was Iron Warriors, also known as
Shut
Sons of the Sigillite. Honestly, there's a lot of well-performing units this game for me.
I like the Iron Havocs.
I like the Iron Havocs. I like...
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, I liked the Recon Marines.
Yeah, they've had a strong showing.
I like the... Breachers did pretty... there's a lot of... I like Gulg's unit a lot, actually.
My own quad gun's killing my guy.
Yeah, they fought off, your Terminators, your Praetor, Tactical Marines.
Yeah. Tough hombre.
Yeah, they did pretty good. We've played a couple games, including Gulg, and historically he's whiffed almost all of his attacks. So he did way better this
Hammer
time.
Wrath is nice.
Yeah, with his new model that I painted up for him.
Pretty
so, but I think I'd have to give it to probably the Recon Marines.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch of killing both the Medusa and then the Laser Vindy was
and
nice.
also taking the Scorpius launcher out of commission.
Yeah, fluffy as hell. Plays well to our Fear the Flanks special rule.
That's
Because really, without that special rule, we're expecting from Forge World that you're to outflank, wait a turn for no reason, and then charge.
Oh, yeah. You also pay a really big premium for Recon Marines.
It's not a cheap unit.
Just for outflank.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay for Melta Bombs, you have to pay for Camelio Line, you have to pay for any, non-standard weapons, so it's not like
like you get acute senses, you get outflanked. Those are pretty good together, but they're pure shit for a unit that can't access shooting weapons.
Didn't shoot our last game, but in our last game as well, they outflanked
and killed the
Medusa.
Medusa.
So it's like it's what they do. It's their whole mission. It's very. It speaks to the way we like to play. It's like it's very close to like World War II tactics of like actually flanking and actually making people have to maneuver. So
yeah,
good. Epic fail.
Epic fail. It's gotta be the Dreadnoughts, I guess.
Yeah, because they got pretty gunned down.
They did get gunned down, but you did also you did have to contribute a lot to shooting at them.
In fairness, it did. I like the last moment of your character, just being like, he's got the 2 dreadnoughts he's with, they both die, and he's out in the middle of the street, no cover, and this giant fucking tank is at the end of the road, just like, last cannon, last cannon.
He ate them. But, they didn't do a lot. It was partially due to, how the terrain was set up. It got seized on.
Yeah, you couldn't take full advantage of your shield. Plus, Armor 12 is still Armor 12.
It's still Armor 12, but, they did eat, some pretty concentrated firepower. There's a lot of
they soaked them a lot.
Carries, javelins, a whole bunch of fun shooting at them, where if I'd gone first, there would have been, less, hopefully, coming at them.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, no, that was, a victory point was, 400-ish points.
On a weird tangent, we were talking about a lot of the issues we have with Void Shield Harness. Yeah. And we sort of came up with a solution. This is a bit of a tangent. Yeah. During the game of just, instead of making it anything to do with the blast template, you just join to a unit. That unit, whether it's one other dude or 50, get Void Shield. And it kind of works out, because if it's a big unit, anyone's going to take down your Void Shield anyways. It doesn't really help you. Kind of plays well. You still going to have small units.
Yeah, it helps in the same way. It reduces, some cases of, jankiness in terms of,
you get weird situations with, stuff flipping from blasts.
It can get really, really wonky. Blast scattering, the directions, it hit the Void Shield now.
And then
that got wasted. And also, the Mortificator, its interactions are really weird.
Different.
Because, you can have him out front, and raw from what I've been able to tell you, have him out front, you have the Void Shield Harness. It always hits the harness first.
Even though you can't target that guy.
You can't target the guy, you target the unit, it automatically hits the harness. Yeah. So you basically waste a unit shooting at the harness, and then you can start shooting the dreadnoughts because you can't hit the dude until last.
It's fucking weird.
And then if they're better dreadnoughts, you can tank it way more off.
And that's what brought up our whole conversation of changing the Void Shield to it. So.
And it's always had some really annoying issues too, just in terms of the positioning, the blast.
The wording is really bad for almost all parts of it.
For example, Phosphex, you hit the stuff on the outside, you kill everything on the outside, and then it just hits the wall and doesn't do anything. There's some wonkiness.
It's weird. It really is.
And we definitely do change the rules, especially speaking of Phosphex, that a lot of the time it's just streamlining.
If you think of it too, it's a similar concept to the old custom force field from Orcs, but Orcs didn't have to put a blast down. It was just join the unit.
Yeah.
It
was a
it was a 5-up.
It was a radius at one point
right,
too.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to the models instead of the unit within it, and it became garbage. Yeah. But yeah,
okay. My epic fail.
Or your MVP first.
Well, MVP's tough. Probably the Scorpius. It somehow fucking lived, and that's saying a lot. I think given what happened, and it's just I don't know. It's always pretty reliable, and even when it fucks up, it kind of doesn't. So.
Yeah.
I had a couple of nice full spreads.
It's the only artillery that didn't kill your own guys.
Yeah, that's also worth mentioning. Epic fail has to be the Deep Strike mishap, because my god, that was probably 400 points ish.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that your Praetor killed the Iron Circle, I would say it would be him. But it was the guys who actually didn't do anything at all.
The Praetor was rough. I didn't get my charge off, and that kind of... I killed the unit. But it kind of screwed his mojo a bit. I definitely made mistakes big time. My Librarian is a very close second for that fail.
Honestly,
that was funny.
Honestly, he should be your epic fail, because he cost you a victory point. Cost you 2.
I love that.
I love he survived it, like threw a fucking Termi into the warp instead of himself, and then fucked off. Like,
he gave up 2 victory points. He's the real epic fail.
That was my fault for fucking warp shunt field is garbage, and I'm never doing that again.
It's not that it was
on record.
It's not great.
No, it's not worth 35 fucking points. I could almost get a navigator in my list for that. Like, it's fucking no, can't do it. So anyway, 2 minutes less. Your thoughts on this particular game?
I really like the board.
Thank you.
I do think though, like just in my particular list, the big old firing lane is more advantageous to me.
Yeah.
Especially with the havocs and like the tyrants and all that fun.
Yeah. Especially the bunker you get to bring.
The bunker, yeah, you get to set that up.
Yeah.
The bunker, I really, we found some rules out that basically, unless you're like rending, lance, or there's one more, sunder.
Right.
You don't get the other like rules against buildings.
Ordnance, Haywire, a bunch of them don't get
Armor Bane, Melta, Tank Hunter.
Yeah.
They don't work. So, our previous estimation was that like buildings were good for their armor value and their relative hull points compared to like size, especially for the bunker.
Yeah.
But they were like pretty shit once you pinned it with like anything serious, which is why you had to take the Void Shield to kind of deter that. Because basically you could like one shot it off like.
I don't love that you're
weapon.
Very easily making dudes in a bunker snapfire because it's like the opposite of why a bunker exists. But also, weirdly enough, if you've got one unit in a vehicle, he's only ever going to get hit once. Like, it can be bad, it can be whatever, there'll be special rules involved, but like he's getting hit once. That one character in your bunker could get hit 6 times for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
That being said, it's way fucking harder to do that. You've got 10 armor 14 with like bonuses now.
For sure. I just meant it's weird. Like, it's a weird mechanic.
For sure. It's definitely odd that like the rock roof can like crush him easier than like the fiery explosion of a vehicle you're in. But yeah, no, like it's incredibly hard to damage a building. You need strength 9 or 10. And even then, it's just your straight dice roll most of the time, unless you're, again, rending or you have lance attached to your special rules.
I like the little bunker. It's probably the easiest piece of, like, part of your army terrain to accommodate. Because it's like, it's a rhino. It's not much bigger than a rhino. I find it awkward here just because I'm using a lot of terrain for this board.
For sure.
That's when we were trying to talk about for tournaments, like whether fortifications are in or not. In our old tournament format where we had a lot of space on the boards... they were easier because we basically just had like a ruin in every corner and a big element.
We had the same board pretty much for every table.
We basically had 8 dead boards, realistically.
Yeah, but it was planned.
Oh yeah, but I mean like in terms of the no low cover, like it's just a bunch of
we planned it out to be even.
Yeah.
And the variables were the deployment.
Yeah.
And the mission and the objective spread. Not the terrain.
Right.
But so the game was fun. I like the breachers. It's fun seeing how like resilient they are against the right things. Because the wrong things still just kind of like laugh at how expensive they are. It's, like obviously when you give them all melted bombs and like the special weapons, they eat up the points. It was over 300 points for 10 guys, but
they scored an objective.
They scored, and like against like quad mortars, you don't want to shoot those things. If your sergeant's the last guy alive, like you can't shoot them with a Scorpius either. Like it's really hard to kill. So I liked seeing that. I liked seeing the Tartaros Terminators like contribute. Yeah. Especially since like they were in a kind of a rough spot early on against like
they got pretty fucking deep.
Yeah, they got really deep.
Thought,
so that was cool. The Recon Marines were cool. I like seeing all the units I don't get to use very often in like older armies.
It was nice to see bodies against bodies. It was nice to see like what I think. I keep want to use Royal Elite. What I like is combined arms warfare. I think you're kind of on board with that for the most part.
Yeah, I'm less of a tank guy.
Yeah. But different units. Like you've got a recon unit. You've got like a heavy support unit that's like a dedicated fire support. You've got a tank hunting unit in the form of like melta guns. You know, like they're all doing different things. There's more room for vehicles for you, but you don't need them. They might just help you in the blocking front, really. You had a lot of Termies, which helped a lot.
Yeah, I do like the Terminators. I like the Mass Terminator.
They look sick.
I really am partial to the combi grenade Reaper autocannon loadout. Like, it is kind of.
It looks cool though.
It looks really cool.
A little pricey. I'm making sure we're still filming.
Pretty pricey, but like, you know what? They've always done
a lot
acceptable. At least they've always been versatile, and that was it's kind of the point I made them for. So like, they look cool. They do well. Like, I want to get some Seekers painted up. I have 20 Tactical Marines that are like almost done. I got so much stuff left to make.
I'm excited to see your big tank. I don't often like big models, but that I do like the Cerberus as a model, and I think for this army, for this paint job, oh my god.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not so much of a tank guy, but like, that's something else. It looks really cool.
Plus, point-wise, it's like affordable. It's like under 600, right? Or...
It's like 4 something. It's
okay,
like
so it's not going to fuck your list. It's like 1/6 of a 3,000.
It's under 450 with the last cannons, and the armored Ceramite. And yeah, no, like the biggest thing for that right now is just getting the Iron Warriors doors. I have to like.
I'm excited for it for a very personal reason, because the last time I played against it was in an 8th edition battle report, and it just happened to be like one of those battle reports that like highlighted why I hate 8th, which is also a great transition into shit talk 8th edition. But let me just say my point is, that was the game where like you were like, because of 8th edition, he was like shooting around corners. This giant, the tank is a gun. It's like my Vindicator is a gun, and he'd like pop his bum out from like 1 millimeter and like shoot his giant gun out of his ass into my plane
that was shooting sideways,
which was also shooting sideways too. Like, the whole thing was just showing me why I hated 8th, but it's like a rebirth for it, because now it's like no longer Nurgle. It's been like changed Chaos Gods to the Iron Warriors.
They don't got no god.
They don't got no god, and they look like the kind of people who would use that tank. Like, hazard marks fucking made for that tank. But anyway, let's transition to shit talking 8th edition. Our favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show. So what dropped today? This is fun.
A pre-order
dropped today. It's sort of like a cynical person on the inside of GW picked the worst photo as the first promo photo, because it's just like the Apocalypse box and then a stack of cards. It almost looks like something I would make to mock the state of 8th edition, but it literally is like emblematic of why I hate 8th edition. Now, granted, I'm talking about a whole new way of playing, which is APOC. But here's the thing. We get to play with all our models in APOC. You get to play with all your models now. That's obviously the biggest problem with 8th edition, is that they couldn't say no to fucking anyone, and it's the like spoiled child edition version of 40k, because I just want to run knights. Well, you can. I just want to run like 3 Bane Blades and my mother's dick. Okay, you can do that too, because I'll just run a heavy support detachment, which is some reason in the core game, and like, APOC is nothing new because you've been playing APOC for all of 8th edition. I was at CTC, beautiful armies, but everyone is a knight. Like, the whole game is skewed to these big stupid models now, and when you do see infantry, they're to conga line or get CPs. Like, it's a card game. And to turn it into more of a card game, and that's the worst thing. I hear the promo, I hear Robin Crudup going, "Oh, it's great, mate. You know, you get to play in 5 fucking minutes, and you get to use whatever you want." I'm like, well, that's what this game needs. It needs shorter games and me to use whatever I want. Like, the problem is, both parties have to enjoy themselves.
8th does need shorter games, because like basically the only reason why 8th edition games aren't like obnoxiously long is because they end on like turn 2. And even then,
whoever goes first wins. That's the other problem.
But like, it takes, the setup is fucking long. Like, I go, you go setup.
Oh, so stupid. So stupid.
It worked in fantasy when like each person had like 4 units to put down.
Plus, you're using movement trace in fantasy.
It works in AOS because you can, 1 drop can be an entire like sub detachment.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Like, it goes very fast. Yes. Is what I'm trying to say. 8th like chopped the points on everything, increased the point size to 2,000, and went for I go you go deployment. It's crazy long in and of itself. And then like these shooting phases take a while. They end up killing a shitload.
Dice.
But like, everyone, you shoot a ton of dice, you roll a ton of dice, you make saves on a ton of dice, because you almost always get a save even if it's shit.
Yep.
So you get to roll those dice to make saves, and then you pull a ton of guys. And
my core argument is what's new. You're basically giving people a fight. Great, movement trays are neat just because I like movement trays. That's cool. I might use some movement trays. But it's like, Who's sitting out there going, well, finally I get to use my Bane Blade in 40k? That hasn't happened every fucking day since they ruined 7th. Like, we all saw it coming in 6th and 7th. We all looked over at the tables and we're like,
6th?
Yeah, we're like, why is everything on Aquila? Why does that guy have 3 Medusas on like an Aquila strong point and like his opponent, or not Aquila, landing pad?
Sky Shield, yeah.
The Sky Shield landing pad, and his opponent has a Sky Shield landing pad too, with also 3 artillery tanks. And I'm like, this game is getting dumb. I'm not ahead of it.
I remember 6 when it was like a slow trickle. Like you had the Tau formation. It was the first one. It was kind of weird. You're like, oh, that's odd. Like any army can take it. That's really weird. But like it was kind of like an
someone's getting their bonus this year.
and then you had like you could have 1 ally in 6th. For those of you who both watched this and have never played 6th, which
all 7 months of 6th,
or 7th. But like you could have 1 ally, and then like Inquisition came out and they didn't count towards it, but you could take them. And then like Knights came out initially and the same thing. And then, like, the Tau formation, and Tyranids got one formation where only they got objectives secured, if you remember that. And it was, like, really wonky, and, like, a lot of people were arguing about what, like, they'd allow in, because, like, it was so, like, released and staggered in, like, piecemeal fashion.
And 7th had the Decree, which was...
And then 7th dropped, and it just, like, swept all of that aside, and they're like, formations in. Like everything, objective secured, super in. And, 7th, again, it kind of like... It wasn't crazy at first. Because, like, it was like Grey Knights, Dark Angels... Or no, Dark Angels were the first and 6th. It was like Grey Knights, Chaos. And you're like, huh, okay. Like, these aren't too bad. Like, Blood Angels, whatever. And then it's like, Necrons. They just fucking smashed everything. It's like... Space Marines, you're like, holy shit, the Space Marines, like, oh my god. And they're like, hey, Eldar, you thought the last one was bad with, like, the Serpent Shield and that? It's like, here comes the Scatter Bikes. And, like, it was so over the top.
My favorite part
was so insane.
Was when they introduced the, like, sub-game for Flyer expansion.
Yeah,
that was, like, mind-bogglingly terrible. Like,
it was so bad, but it was also, like, not, like, an optional expansion.
Right.
But it was a core, and it added a new phase.
Another phase, because we needed 5 phases.
It was so bad, though, despite not being, like, again, optional, like, Apocalypse. Yeah. Everyone just threw it out the window. Like, it was so bad.
I was still shocked with 7th. Like,
Death from the Skies. Well, that's what it was called.
7th was, like, good, but you still had the problem of you could have a 500 fucking point game, and Buddy could have a collection of bottles, and his friend could have a knight. And someone at GW said, this is a game someone wants to play. It's not! It's not!
This is basically what happened. They heard the complaints, like, man, Knights aren't fun, because basically if you don't have strength 7, you don't get to interact with them.
Yeah, so they made everything hurt everything.
But they're like, yeah, I guess that's true, but, like, it's not fun not to be able to interact ever. So, like, Grots can punch Land Raiders to death. And like, no, like, just, like, don't have an entire army of the bullshit.
Yeah.
They're like, no, everything can hurt everything now.
To echo your point, it's sort of like, hey, everything works more or less for these different unit types, except the only wonky one is monstrous creatures. How can we fix this? Well, naturally, the easiest route would be to make everything a monstrous creature! Like, what the fuck? Like, that literally is GW. They want to go and just be obnoxious in the other way. And it's to the benefit of no one, man. You've made a lot of people who stay in this hobby for 6 months really happy, but for the lifers, man, you're killing us. Like, you're literally making me go, I love the models, I love the terrain. The terrain is no part of the game, which I don't know how you're going to sell the terrain if you don't need it.
Yeah, that's
that's another weird one.
8, the terrain doesn't matter.
Double check, are we recording still? Go ahead.
At all. It really matters.
It's all or nothing.
In 7th.
Yeah.
It mattered even more in 6th and even more in 5th.
Yeah.
But, like, as the additions have changed, the terrain has not mattered.
No.
All.
The only thing that's selling terrain right now is Kill Team. Because of, like, it matters.
Yeah.
One simple rule that everyone has to interact with, and, like, that's...
Yeah. And, like, 8th, just cut it to shit. And, like, you can tell that, like, when, like, ITC and like these places where you look at their tournaments and like honestly the tables look like shit. Like I know guys like you have to fund many tables. Like it's there's a fiscal reason why they look poor.
But there is an argument that you can, without a lot of resources, still take the time to set up a table. I know you don't have like 10 minutes to set up a table, but you could take 5.
But my point is like when these like places that have like previously not really cared about terrain, like have had to like house rule in like terrain enhancements to actually,
like your windows aren't actually
on the
bottom floor.
That's kinda, that's not good.
No. What's very fair with 30k is the proportionality. If like I can see 3 out of 10 dudes, I can only kill like 3 out of 10. Similarly, only 3 out of 10 can shoot back at me. It's actually very fair because line of sight as a realistic concept is incredibly fair. I see you, you see me. I don't see you, you don't see me. Pretty simple.
Maybe you can see the banner, or they're like antenna.
8th, the problem is you have these gotchas. Some poor guy gets caught like thinking everything's in cover because all you need to see is that one dude, and then like the whole unit gets wiped because everything.
And they're also not actually in cover.
No,
because they're not in the ruin.
Yeah, the whole thing is just 8th is not good. It's only surviving because it's ubiquitous. 40k has always been like the go-to popular game at most LGBT or not LGBT stores, most local friendly stores. Other than like it's like Magic Cards 40k, Magic Cards 40k. People hate 40k and play it. People hate Magic Cards and play it. But that's the standard. So like people are gonna play 40k regardless of it being shit or good. That's my opinion, but I think it's true.
Yeah, man. If 30k wasn't around, you'd probably be hating your way through playing 8th.
Like
honestly,
I would be like an angrier person. I don't know. When I heard people make comments about 8th, that like it just seems more realistic. I'm like, just shut the fuck up! Like I want to stab you in the neck.
Man, like this, I said this on the internet recently, but like I'll say it live.
Yeah.
Imagine like being told, okay, go up to that Abrams and punch it like 16 times. Okay. Yeah. Now imagine it like exploding, or like ceasing to be functional in any way possible. Like you've wrecked an Abrams, you've hit it with your fist 16 times.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Like a guardsman can do to a Land Raider.
Yeah.
Straight up, like that can happen. And it's the most mind-boggling, like, dumb thing ever. Like,
I'll give the example that I've been giving lately. The Saving Private Ryan scene. If you haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, towards the end, they go to a town with a bridge. They have to hold the bridge. It's almost like a one-objective game, you know? Like, just don't let them take the bridge. The whole point is there's a spiel from the guy showing all the weapons. Like, here's all the things we got. We got a 30 cal. We got a mortar. He tells them about 30 different weapons, and then he ends the whole thing with, but all of these may as well be spitwads if they come at us with tanks. What happens? They come at them with tanks. They have no problem killing the artillery. They have a fucking hell of a time killing a tank, and they literally have to make crack grenades. They have to take Comp B, which is an explosive, put it in a sock, wrap it in axle grease, and literally blow the treads off the fucking tanks, which doesn't even kill them, it just immobilizes them to keep further tanks from coming down the road, okay? Someone saw 8th edition and go, well, this movie would be way better if that guy just didn't say the last line, the spitwad line. Instead he said, but all of that can hurt anything because weapons have no hierarchy. Like,
and also, if you just went up and punched it, because then the tank wouldn't be able to shoot him.
It would have been great if when the bombers came in, all those flamethrower Russians just hit all the bombers with their flamethrowers. As we know, flamethrowers are a time-honored anti-air weapon. So. I don't know, have we shit-talked 8th enough? I don't know.
I really like the models.
Beautiful models.
I really hate kind of the more tournament enhanced version of 8th and like what you see. I really don't enjoy playing the missions or like meta building for playing the missions. I really like playing like friends with their fully painted like mono faction armies with like the more basic missions where with a good terrain, which ends up being like, you know, there is some tactical gameplay getting around the terrain. There is some like causality decision making. It's not just like scramble to gain points every turn based on your own criteria, not anything to do with your opponent, really.
That's just it.
Like, I don't really like the tournament version of 8th.
I've always enjoyed endgame causality. Like, you score the game at the end. I don't mind there's things you can kind of know ahead of time, but like, I think where I deviated quickly was when everyone started playing Dance Dance Revolution, which was 7th with like Maelstrom. It's just more exciting. I'm like, you're not playing a game, like you're just rolling shit. Like, oh, that thing I did got me points, yay! Like you turn the game to a slot machine. Great.
Yeah.
Different set of people. Anyway, thank you for watching. We're gonna do more 30K. We're hoping to do different stuff, like maybe explain our rules a bit more. Maybe do a video too where we're talking about all the new stuff from the latest book.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of general stuff like the new consoles that are just cool to know about. We've been doing a few of them, but maybe more. We're hoping to get Jason Horsley on the show again. If you're watching, Jason. With his awesome Alpha Legion, so we'll see about that. It'd be nice to play you versus Jay with the new army. See how that goes.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So hopefully we can get Jay to come on the show. Matt might be coming on the show.
Hopefully, yeah.
Garrett, hopefully.
Yeah, when he's back from playing actual 30K.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Lots of that for him.
Aaron, yeah, when Aaron gets stuff done. Who knows?
Possibly Michael.
Possibly Michael.
Lords.
Yep. So keep watching, and we'll be back hopefully in another couple weeks with a new battle report. Bye-bye. Oh, that was good. Yeah. I really got to vent about 8th edition, which is something I've never done before.
Gods of war, may your hammer be mighty.